So last night, something very stupid came to light that the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and a whole bunch of Trump officials are in a private chat group on Signal, as in the commercial messaging app, where they were planning to do military strikes against Yemen, and for some reason they invited the editor of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldblum, to that. But the part that's even more absurd is they were also heavily shit talking Europe, and we really gotta talk about that. And if you could, please do some engagement because TikTok is killing my videos. JD Vance, the vice president, says, "If you think we should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out again. Let's just make sure our messaging is tight here. And if we do things that we can do up front to minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it." Then Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, says, "VP, I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. But Mike is correct. We're the only ones on the planet on our side of the ledger who can do this. Nobody else even close. Question is timing. I feel now is a good time as any, given POTUS directive to reopen shipping lanes. I think we should go, but POTUS will retain 24 hours of decision space." Then Stephen Miller, the policy advisor to Donald Trump and man most likely to volunteer to be a guard at the prison camp, "As I heard it, the president was clear green light, but as soon as we make to Europe and Egypt what we expect in return, we also need to figure out how to enforce such a requirement. Example given, if Europe doesn't remunerate, then what if the US successfully restores freedom of navigation at great cost? There needs to be some further economic gain extracted in return." Which the Secretary of Defense responds, "Agreed." So let's break this down. Pete Hegseth and JD Vance and Stephen Miller are all chatting together while the editor of The Atlantic is watching about how they want to extort economic concessions from Europe because they're making strikes upon Yemen. Keep this in mind. The Yemenis have only started striking, as in the Houthi rebels have only started striking because Israel broke its ceasefire in Gaza. So they want economic concessions from Europe for Israel restarting its war, and thus the Houthis returning to their attacks upon shipping in the Red Sea. That is what they are presenting. And not only that, they are just completely wrong about European freeloading, because EU NAVFOR Atalanta has been going since 2008 in the Red Sea, and they have been doing exactly the thing that is keeping the lanes of navigation safe and free for everybody. This includes protecting World Food Program vessels and bringing a ton of food and humanitarian aid. And of course, going after piracy in the Red Sea. The big takeaway for Europe in all this is that not only is the United States pulling out of Europe, it is staff full of people at the most senior level deciding in a chat group what they're going to do with world security, led by multiple people who literally hate Europe and want to extort it for economic concessions. That is what's going on. The transatlantic relationship is in tatters because people on the other end are burning it.